In this video, let's talk about audio stretching. Now, the stretching of audio forms a big part of Bitwig. It basically revolves around it. You're pulling in audio, and audio is being time stretched so that it is loopable, meaning that no matter what the tempo is, the audio is going to loop seamlessly. Because basically, Bitwig has been designed as a live performance tool as well. And with this, it wants to make your life easier by pulling in loops, automatically time stretching them with algorithms that have been designed by Bitwig, and then you can go in and edit and manipulate these. So that's what I'm going to show you in this video. What I've done is I've pulled in two loops here. There's a synth and a beat, and it sounds like this. So there's the two clips. If you click on this clip and look at the clip launcher properties, as you can see, it has been stretched and the default tempo is 140. But that's fine because I have set the tempo at 140. But if I go down to this beat clip over here, it's been stretched, but the tempo is actually at 128. So for the stretch mode, if I actually turn this to raw, meaning that there's no stretching happening, then it's not going to be in time. So as you can hear, that does go out of time because it's playing at 128 BPM when the synth is playing at 140. So I'm going to set the mode for the audio to stretch. We are going to check out some of these other modes a bit later in the video, but let's first start with that. So how does stretching work? So basically you can go into a clip. I'm going to double click it and go to the audio events editor, and I've got audio events selected. But if I go onto stretch mode and I just zoom up, you'll see at the bottom here, I've got these little start and end stretch locators, meaning if I actually take this and drag it in, so I'm going to half the timing of this part. As you can see, it's 8 bars. Now I've made it 4 bars. And if I play back, so the beat has double timed. Let's take this a bit further. Let's see if we can slow it down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the beat and make it half time. So that is the length of the beat, and that's going over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bars. So let's just drag this out another 8 bars, which will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 down to bar 17. So grab this and grab it all the way to bar 17. And now we got this. Another way of doing this very quickly is to go to the event tab here. So remember, when you've got something selected, some other options come available up here. So if I go to the event tab, but first I actually make sure I select the event. That's a good thing to do. And I go here, I can scale by 50%. And that's going to minimize it by 50%, which is going to take it back to its original time. Or I can do it by another 50%, where it has shrunk it by 50%. Or I can do the reverse by scaling it up 200%. So that's going to take this that's currently as its default as 100% and scale it up, and it's back to its regular length. I can do the same for the synth. I can go into the synth, go into the stretch mode and select the event, then go to event and say scale by 50%. Or the reverse by slowing it down. So scale it up first, 200% to its regular length, and then scale it up by 200% again. Now that is using the stretch mode. As you can see, you've got a selection of other modes. So for example, this is stretch, where stretch HD is going to have a more advanced stretch mode. As you can see, stretch uses granular stretching, where stretch HD uses multi-band granular stretching. So let's take a listen. You can definitely notice less artifacts on this super stretched out notes over here. Now that doesn't change the pitching or the timing. You've got slice, where it's going to slice the audio into chunks using various methods. With this way, it'll probably use some formant controls. So take a listen when you do this. Listen again over here. Let's select the clip again and try another mode. So we'll go to Elastica, which preserves the transients. This works really well with more rhythmic-based things like drums. Obviously, this is a bit more melodic, but it does still have a rhythm to it. And the one last thing that I do want to show you is repitch. So what this is going to do is it's actually going to repitch it. So if you speed up a clip, it's going to pitch it up. And if you slow it down, it's going to pitch it down. Check it out. So it's good just knowing these different modes because each one has its own different flavor and you might want to use it for different case scenarios. I'm going to set it back to stretch and I want to just show you some other things. So first I want to select this clip and scale it down by 50%. There we go, back to normal. And if I zoom up, I just want to show you something. So going back to what we saw before, this is the start stretch marker and then this is the end stretch marker. And these little blue lines here are transients that have been detected. Now I can go down here and create another marker. And what this allows me to do is stretch it out. So that's stretched out. And if I bring it in, it's going to speed it up. And notice as I'm pulling, it's locking to the grid. So that is locking to the grid lines. But if I hold down shift, I can just randomly shift it off the grid. So maybe you've got some problems with some timings and you just want to correct some timings. You can do it this way with shift. But I want to lock it to the grid for now just to show you something. So it's going to be faster there because it's been compressed and then here it's been stretched out. So that's one way of looking at stretching, but I want to show you something else. What you would have noticed is as I stretch, each part before and after is being manipulated. Now, what happens if you just want to stretch out one bit? For example, let's say these bits here, I just want to edit them. So I'm going to create a marker there, and there's a marker there. Now, if I create a marker here, and I shift this, both before and after are going to be edited. But if I create another marker, let's say over here, then basically these points are locked, and only that is going to change. So this is a great way of working if you just want to edit some parts in your production. So let's tighten that up or compress it. And here, let's lengthen. And everything's locking. So now we've got something like this. Pretty interesting. Now let's do something drastic. I'm going to create another point over here. Yep, there. And let's do something drastic. I'm going to make another point over here and stretch that out an insane amount. So we've got this. And just for extra measure, let's create a point here and compress that bit at the end. So you're just getting some different flavors within the synth. Very cool. I'm going to undo those changes, but you get the idea. One more thing, I just want to jump to the drums and try to do some manipulation on that as well with the clips. So we'll go to the drums, but with the mode, I want to use repitch. Now watch this. We're going to zoom in and I'm going to create some markers. Let's make a loop marker there, another one here, and lock it in at bar 5, and another one here. So as I compress this, it'll pitch down. And let's maybe see, we got that on the grid. Yes, that's on the grid. And if I make another point and stretch it out, it's going to repitch it up. So maybe just solo the beat. We'll take a listen. Interesting, hey? So you using the repitch mode to actually create some pitch variations in a drum beat. Going back to that synth, let's just speed up the timing. So as you can see, it's stretching out too long there. I'm going to select the event, go to that, and scale it by 50%. So now we're left with this. The original synth part with a manipulated drum beat. And like I said, you can hear some things out of time over there. So as you can see, that's locking to transients that are detected. So I can select that transient. It's going to lock it to a grid. Maybe I want to go into the grid and change it down to eighth notes. So grid, And let's make the eighth note so I can see a bit more clearly now. And now I can pull it onto a grid marker. So you've got a lot of customization and flexibility with time stretching and using these points to manipulate the audio to how you want them to sound within the clip. But just bearing in mind that Bitwig is a looping environment and you can make the most of this by using these stretching capabilities.